chauvinist was with his family and arguing with Cynthia, at which point she said,
"Take this, father, and I help it, you die!"
Cynthia!
You didn't die, don't!
Die! Well, immediately after that,
have a little more respect for the art form.
I don't respect it, father.
Listen.
I don't respect you, father. How can I?
Ah, I believe this is yours.
All right, you two, all right. Enough. We need to talk about the drop tonight. So, my understanding is the flight from the Caribbean will be flying over and drop by parachute the little drugs that you need for your taxidermy, and someone will be hiding them underneath a trapdoor in the earth.
This makes me very nervous. You know, these taxidermy chemicals are illegal in the United Kingdom. This is not France. They are highly poisonous.
It worries me too, Mother. These chemicals are very, very important.
You are careful when you use them, aren't you,
Oh, of
Cynthia?
course I'm very careful, but if we're found out, it could be the end of us.
Claire, promise me. I know that you are into this wild laissez-faire lifestyle. You married a Frenchman as some sort of form of anarchy.
Okay. I'm finding this a bit uncomfortable, parents. Could you just say what you need to say?
Let's
saying-
take it upstairs, darling.
Yes, promise me. You will be careful.
I'm always careful.
And think on what I have said, young lady. I want you to marry Peter.
Don't listen to your father.
I'm not listening to him.
Oh, Beatrice, thank you for inviting me over. I've never been in your parlor before.
Oh, Henry, I'm so terribly sad.
Why don't you knit?
Well, you see, I'm knitting this lovely sweater for my dear Elizabeth.
Beatrice, you know, my dear wife has been recently taken from me. And the dear woman with whom I was having an affair, Melody, has been recently taken from me too. And I've suddenly noticed how beautiful you are.
Well, one first. I loved Elizabeth.
As did I.
And I hated Melody.
As did I. No, that's not true. I'm just saying it to please you.
Well, darling, oh.
You called me darling. Can it be true? Can all of this death and mayhem somehow have been necessary to bring two true loving hearts together?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes. Is there room on all that for my name?
Oh, yes. Why, I haven't even started on the back.
Oh, well, this is delightful, for I have a very long name.
Sweetheart, you make me happier than I can imagine. Why don't you and I just cut to the chase and get married?
Oh, what a great idea. Well, just one thing.
Oh, I want to look at you there up against that wainscoting.
Well, I was just about to say that as much as I'm touched by this, I'm a little bit afraid that the people in your life die. And I think that you might be crossing them off your chest.
Beatrice!
And they...
Beatrice! I swear to you, Beatrice, that if you and I were to wed, and you give me the precious gift of your love, and you die in a grisly murder, I would not cross off your name. I promise. What more can a man promise?
what more can a man promise?
A fish.
A fish!
And yet, I have one thing more to offer you.
Yes, because you don't quite have me yet.
there's a tradition. You see, in my family, when a man loves a woman, I mean truly loves a woman, he catches a fish with his bare hands. And this fish I caught for you in the pond down by the senior center. And I want to give it to you. Take that fish and hold it always as a symbol of my love.
Well, you know, in my culture, you see, I'm part Asian, I'm part Caucasian, I'm part African, and I'm also part Malaysian and Lao, and Haitian, and Jamaican, and in our culture, a fish means love, and I will marry you.
Well, that is an awesome coincidence. Yeah. My love.
My darling.
Why don't you and I go down to London Park and walk around the park?
Oh, bless.
Peter!
Inspector Craddock, welcome.
Thank you for meeting me out here. Please don't try to escape me.
Of course not, sir. I'm still a little nervous.
Now I understand that you are the gameskeeper here, and you are in charge of all of the fauna that roam this beautiful park in St. Mary Mead.
Yes, a tradition that I hold dear to my heart.
Now, Peter, there have been 2 murders this past week, I'm sure you're aware, and it appears that skunk has been involved, and I have been searching all around St. Mary Mead, and it appears the only place that one could procure a skunk besides the wild would be here.
Yes, that is correct, sir. Would you like some tea?
Be quite nice.
Yes, we have the skunks here. They're Coccus nigriferatus. That's the Latin word for skunk, which translates into stinky animal.
Very apt. Now, Peter,
Yes, sir.
have you found that any of your supply of skunk, any of the herd, what is a collection of skunk called?
They are called a collection of skunk that stink. Yes, but the proper Latin word is grouping.
A grouping?
Yes.
Have any of the skunks in your grouping gone missing, Peter?
Why, now that you mention it, sir, yes. 2.
2.
Yes, sir.
And what were their names?
Jeffrey and Thomas.
And Thomas, thank you very much. Peter,
Yes, sir.
I sense that you have an affinity for these animals. I didn't even believe they had names. I was merely a gesture, but obviously a man such as yourself, who is so in love with the animals in which he cares for, be devastated should 2 have gone missing.
I am, sir. I'm quite devastated, of course. I raised these, I take care of these animals myself. I've raised them since they were born.
How long have you been gameskeeping?
9 years.
Tell me about it.
Well, sir, as you see, I was a family of 12 children. I was the youngest of 12. And my parents always said I was a mistake.
And while you do this, I don't mean to keep you from your job. Those goats look hungry. Why don't you feed them?
Yes, of course. They like to eat lettuce, sir. As we can here.
Yes.
So I was youngest of 12.
Oh.
And I was neglected. My family, as I mentioned before, they said I was an accident, a mistake, and therefore I've always felt neglected. I only had my pets at home, my cat and dog and a little turtle, and I took care of them. And they were the only ones who had seemed to actually show love for me, to actually respond to my kindness. My older siblings, they were all quite busy with their own lives. My parents did devote their attention upon them. They all went to university and became either a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. And I always found a strong affinity to animals, for they were the only ones that showed me anything, sir. Even my own parents didn't show me love. And like the little turtle would show me so much love, sir. and I crave for it. And that's why I decided to become the groundskeeper here and to raise these animals, for they are the only things that are dear to my heart, and I cannot imagine anything happening to them, sir.
So, Peter, you've just explained to me how you are so fond of animals and how they are the only ones in your life who you felt cared for you. So tell me why you, not just this morning, were about to marry a taxidermist. Someone who is the antithesis to your love.
I didn't know she was a taxidermist until she told me.
Don't lie to me. You knew and you had a reason. Tell me. Were you trying to get back at this woman?
How dare you, sir? How dare you question my motives for love? I love Cynthia. She was the only person, other than my animals, that showed me any sort of interest and affection. And her deciding not to be with me and to become a taxidermist of all things was a betrayal, a personal betrayal to my heart. And I will not stand. I'm sorry, sir. I did not mean to lose my temper.
Cynthia? Oh, what is my knitting doing here? Cynthia?
Yes?
Sorry, that was very quick.
Would you like some tea?
Oh, thank you. I would like some tea. Thank you so much for inviting me
Pouring
over.
very easily. I don't know what's wrong with it. Hardly pouring.
Darling, I think it's gone a bit sour.
My! I'm so sorry.
No problem, child. I was actually coming to inquire after your mother. It's been such a long time since I've seen her, but, well, she's not at home, so I was hoping that you could tell me how she's faring.
Well, she and my father are doing marvellously, and she's been a bit stressed lately. You see, the family is getting into a new business. I'm becoming a taxidermist, and, oh, we're just trying to understand the business world. Quite stressful.
Death. So you're going to specialize in death.
But I think about it much differently, Miss Marple. You see, people love their animals. They want to keep them forever. And yet they die, much too soon for most. And so I can make it so that each individual can have their animal forever. It's a gift I'm giving to the community.
Well, that is actually quite lovely. It's, when I say death and specializing in that, what I mean is that, well, I've known your mother for quite some time. For many years, in fact. And, well, she had a little bit of a different take on it. And
What did she say, may I ask?
she loved chemicals. She loved stuffing chemicals in people and in animals, sorry. I did not mean people, in animals. Yes. And I find it always a bit concerning that she likes to stuff things in things. Living things, dead things, living things that were dying. It's just all very
Miss
concerning.
Marple, I believe that you might know my mother better than I do. And
I want
I
to alert
reveal
you.
this,
Go ahead.
but my mother has been talking about chemicals quite a lot lately. In fact, she's trying to buy them, and they're illegal. And I tell her, Mother, no, we can't do such a thing. I'll just use glue.
My darling, I come here, I'm beating around the bush, but really I'm trying to alert you. Your family, you do not know them.
Well, I can see you're correct.
I want you to be on guard.
Am I in danger?
You might be.
Well, I don't feel safe here then in my own home.
My dear, keep your eyes open when you sleep.
I'll do my best.
Detective Inspector General.
I'm not a general.
Oh, I know.
No, I was in the war, but I was, well, I was not a general. I was barely a private. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I was just about to tell you that I hated melody. I know you were going to ask me at some point. And I just want to get that out of the way so that you just remove me as a suspect altogether.
Well, Beatrice, I'm afraid that I cannot remove you as a suspect, as I understand that at one point in time, your knitting circle, this circle of women, well, I understand that before this you had another circle, many, many women who you were convincing to have these sort of strange activities, live on the Isle of Wight with you, praise you as a god. Well, that quite sounds like it was a cult, something, I dare say, satanic. I'd like to ask
Oh, for
you about
God's
that.
sakes, bird watching is not satanic. It simply is what it is, and yes, we met in a group in white robes and red sashes, and we worked ourselves around the room, and we prayed to every little phoenix bird we could see, but oh my goodness.
Beatrice, do you take me for a fool?
No, I don't.
I know that you are a cult leader. It was in the papers, and I know you've tried to distance yourself from it, but I would like to hear very much. So out with it.
You're quite right. And it followed me here. But really, it all started when I was in prison.
Oh.
Well, no, it wasn't really quite like that. It was all a mistake. I was actually accused of being a peeping Tom, but that wasn't the case. It was because I had a huge telescope, and I was using it for doing bird watching, and I kept looking at people's rooms because the birds were landing there. They just do. And so, anyway, I can't get within about 100 feet of a big telescope. But you see, the thing is, I met a man named Edward when I got out of prison. And I loved him. I loved him so much. But there was Melody. And it turned out that that was her husband. And I took him away. Sadly, he died on the Isle of Wight, where I was surrounding him with white robes and red sashes and lots of ladies who danced around his body like this. People thought that it was satanic or a cult, but no, it really wasn't. It was part of my culture, and that's what we do to try to get men to love us. You look at me skeptically.
I look at you skeptically because I've done my research, Beatrice. And I think that cult leaders like yourself try to fool me, but I'm not taking all this. I understand that you are at one point in love with a man who Melody fancied, and he died dancing around his body with all these women. I think you liked the attention. I think you liked being in charge. I think you liked watching all the birds. And as you know, it's common English terminology to call women birds.
Yes, and I wanted to be the head bird. I mean, why wouldn't I be? Look at me.
Cynthia.
Henry?
Cynthia, I'm sorry to come upon you when your father and mother are out. I was hoping to catch them here. No, that's not true. That's not true at all, Cynthia. I came here to speak to you. If I shared something with you, do you promise me that you would keep it to yourself, a secret, so to speak?
Possibly.
You know, I've always looked upon you as almost a child of my own, what with you being the child of one of my dearest friends in the whole world.
Well, I must be honest. I've always thought of you as rather creepy.
Yes, well, I was bald at a very early age, you know. But,
Tell me your secret.
well, it's really more of a favor than a secret. There seems to be a rumor going about that your mother has been procuring taxidermy chemicals for you to use in your taxidermy career. Is it true?
Of what interest is it to you?
Well, when I was young, I had two pets.
Oh my God.
A parrot
Oh.
and a rabbit.
Let me see this work.
Would you stuff them for me? I've been carrying them around for all these years, and they're mostly decayed, but I think someone with the skills that you're rumored to have might be able to bring them back to a certain amount of luster.
Thank you so much, Peter. This is the most beautiful gift I've ever received. The ability to stuff a dead animal. It will be a challenge since parts are gone, but I shall do the best job ever.
Oh dear. Is this a skunk tail?
Oh, yes, just some of my work gone awry. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
Well, you know, when you are a taxidermist, these kinds of things are found around the home all the time. Oh, look. A dead rat. No, really.
Cynthia,
What?
you know there's very few people who have access to skunks in this town.
Well,
And you know that the murder victims, my dear, dear women, were found with skunk tail down their esophagus.
Oh, well, how horrible.
Cynthia? Cynthia, did you have something to do with the death of my dear, dear loves, whose name I shall not utter here?
It's written on your body. I can see it from here.
Did you kill them?
I did not kill anybody.
Did you kill them? I did not kill anybody. During this after this tense exchange, what do you think happened? Another murder.
Wow.
Yes. But who do you think it was?
The groundskeeper.
Cynthia.
My dear friends, who do you think was the victim?
Cynthia.
Beatrice.
Peter.
The great Oh.
That poor man's body was discovered like